Listen to this. So there's this film I saw a few years ago. It's a Coen Brothers film. Don't know if you would have heard about it. It's called The Man Who Wasn't There. It's not one of their biggest hits. It's kind of a homage or a takeoff on the film noir genre. Stars Billy Bob Thornton. Filmed in black and white. Billy Bob Thornton, he's a barber in Santa Rosa, California. He lives a boring existence, the same old every day, cutting people's hair. Doesn't say anything. Nobody even notices him. That's where they got the title from. But one day, Billy Bob finds out that his wife, Frances McDormand, is having an affair with James Gandolfini, who's her boss at the department store where she works, Tony Soprano himself. So Billy Bob decides he's going to use this to his advantage. He sends an anonymous note to Gandolfini and tries to blackmail him for $10,000. Says, if you don't give me the $10,000, I'm going to talk about what's going on. But Gandolfini, he finds out who's written the note. He confronts Billy Bob. The two men, they get in a big fight, and Billy Bob Thornton ends up killing James Gandolfini. But it's his wife who gets charged with the crime. The police find out about the affair, and they think she's killed him. Now, Billy Bob Thornton, he's racked with guilt, but he doesn't say a word. He's going to let his wife take the rap for this. But he's so guilty, he takes comfort in the house of one of his friends. And his friend has a beautiful daughter. She's 17 years old. Every night, she practices on the piano, playing Beethoven over and over and over again. Listen. Now, this being a Coen Brothers film, things actually go from bad to worse. You see, on the eve of her trial, Billy Bob's wife, Frances McDormand, she hangs herself in her jail cell. So there will be no trial. She's dead. Billy Bob, he's racked with guilt over what he's done. He feels incredible grief about losing his wife, incredible sorrow about the mess that he's made in the world. He becomes obsessed with young Scarlett Johansson. He wants her to have a music career, the music career he thinks she deserves. He uses all his resources to get her an audition with the finest piano instructor in San Francisco. I have to do this, he says. So many other things have gone down the drain. Now, Billy Bob thinks she's a wonderful musician, but the instructor in San Francisco, not so much. She's a very nice girl. She plays the right note always. But, monsieur, I cannot teach her to have a soul. You see, the piano, monsieur, it is not about the fingers. We make with the fingers. But the music, monsieur, the music starts here. It comes out through here. And perhaps, just perhaps, it goes all the way to here, how it fills the room. This girl, very nice girl, very clever. I think someday she will make a very good typist. Tap, 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 tap. Voila. Now, Danny was no typist. Every note he played came from the deepest part of his soul. Now, I got a guitar for my 12th birthday. That's when I got into music. I even took lessons for 2 whole years. But then I sort of gave that up, and I just got into whacking away on the guitar, banging at it over and over again. I didn't have any much time or any patience for scales. So I just was interested in exploring the sound and the things that I could make. So I was all soul, all passion, but not very much technique. So that's why when I was about 18 and people were starting to choose careers, a lot of my friends actually went up north to that music school in Edmonton, but I decided to head east and study journalism instead. And in many ways that was kind of my second choice after music, but I thought it was a safer one. And in a way, I guess that's why I was so fascinated with Danny. Because Danny had made this other choice. He'd made a choice to make music his whole entire life. And there were consequences for that. There were all kinds of bands, of course. There was the Fly By Night band, Ruby and the Belt Drives, Sunnyside, all kinds of bands playing all kinds of music, blues, pop music, anything you could imagine. But there were also the day jobs, because he couldn't make enough off music to make ends meet. So his day jobs were like house painter and delivery driver, anything he could get to bring in some bucks and have some free time to spend on his music. Now, I think after that Shakuhachi Quest weekend, I think Danny became very focused. He became very focused around his breath. He explored the saxophone as his main instrument, and he got really interested in what was called the noise music scene. This is kind of the branch of jazz that sets aside all ideas of structure and form. You don't come in there with any predetermined ideas. It's just a group of musicians in the moment, exploring the sound, the tones, the timbres, the nuances that can be built through all the instruments, high and low and in between. Now the band names started to get a little bit stranger. Scum de Terre, Tokyo Sex Whale. One night, Danny's band, Street of Crocodiles, they gave a concert in a garbage bin in downtown Calgary. There's guys wailing on the side with 2x4s, beating out the percussion. My sister's husband, Bob, he's part of that band. He's wailing on the guitar, turned up to 11, pounding away. And over top of it all was Danny with his saxophone soaring in the cool Alberta night. But through it all, Danny never lost his fascination with Japan. He studied Japanese poetry, he studied Japanese cooking, he even studied the Japanese language. Japan was the ultimate for him. Now, the last time I saw Danny was about 5 years ago.